Okay, so I usually start these sessions by asking how many of my typing sessions have you seen before?
I've seen bits and pieces from several.
Okay. And how long have you been into typology?
About 2 to 3 years.
All right, cool. Can you tell me about your any the foods you've eaten so far today?
Um, the only food I ate was this morning. I had a yogurt bar and what else? I remember I had a yogurt bar and I had toast with almond butter. And I had a third thing that I can't quite remember.
Okay. And what'd you have for dinner last night?
For dinner, I don't think I ate dinner. I ate one big meal in the afternoon and then I just didn't eat for the rest of the day.
What did you have in the afternoon?
I went to this ramen restaurant. Um, so I got a pork bowl. It was a ramen pork bowl, and I also had boba alongside that, boba tea, and a Japanese appetizer called takoyaki, which is like squid balls.
And was the boba tea? Did you get the tapioca balls in it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how picky are you about your tapioca balls? It has to be from a particular place. Do you think that they are basically all the same? Do you prefer them one way or the other? Like
Um,
more mushy or more firm or what?
it's better if they're more squishier than firm, but I generally don't mind that much either way because I prefer just the taste of the tea itself.
Okay. You ever get Thai iced tea?
Yes, I love Thai iced tea. I really, really like it. I get like those flavoring packets and I put in milk. It's really good.
Well, I've never tried to make it myself, but I order it when places have it. It's so good. Just like
Yeah,
you end up drinking it like so fast. It's like this precious nectar that you run out of so quickly.
definitely. I struggle like fully enjoying good drinks. Like I'll just drink all of it at once. I'm just like, oh, it's gone. Spent like $7 on it and now it's gone.
Try. Do you drink coffee ever?
Um, yeah, I do drink coffee. It depends because I only drink it when I generally need caffeine, but I do like the taste of coffee.
Okay. Do you when you get coffee, do you put things in it or do you drink it black?
Um, I gravitate towards lattes. I like espresso a lot. I get lattes with like oat milk. Sometimes if I'm just in a rush, I'll go to Starbucks and I'll get like 4 shots of espresso, which is a lot, but it's what works for me, and I'll just like chug it.
Okay. How about your sleeping habits? Can you tell me about how many hours of sleep you think you need a night?
It's really sporadic. Um, I definitely have a complex relationship with sleep. I sometimes I'll like it'll be normal and then I'll end up just staying up the whole night and then it'll become backwards where I'll just like sleep through the afternoon and then stay awake through the day. And I for the past few days I've been sleeping at like 10 in the morning and then waking up at like 7 at night or like 5 at night, but I've gotten it sort of fixed today even though it might be messed up now because I took a 4 hour nap earlier.
Well, we we also tend to have trouble staying on regular schedules around here, so I empathize. Um, can you talk to me about what kind of media you consume in terms of videos, music, books, plays, paintings, whatever?
So for music, I listen to a bunch of different kinds of music. I tend to gravitate towards music that has really nice lyrics that speak to me personally because I tend to express my emotions like through the music. Like I'll feel whatever the the person singing, making the music is like feeling, and then I'll because I kind of struggle expressing emotions on my own. So I'll like feel it through the music. So I'm like, oh, I'm feeling I don't really know how I'm feeling right now, so I'll just listen to music and maybe I'll start to feel something through that.
So,
And okay,
so do you think that you pick music to match your mood, or pick music to make your mood?
I think a mix of both because music can generally really affect my mood.
Okay.
So I think I guess it makes my mood.
Can you think about the last time you felt sad and chose to listen to music while you felt sad?
Um, Let me think. I'm not sure if there are any specific instances. I guess if I could think of a specific instance, it was probably like a while ago through like I'm not hmm,
What's the last major emotion you felt?
major emotion. The last major emotion, maybe frustration. I get frustrated
Uh,
pretty often.
okay, do you think you got frustrated today at some point?
No, not today.
Okay. Is it because things went more smoothly today than usual? Or is it because you were less prone to feeling frustrated today than some other days?
There wasn't really anything that could cause frustration because I kind of just kept to myself today. Um, so there was nothing to instigate any frustration.
So, frustration is always caused by other people?
Yeah, definitely.
So, for example, let's say you were alone and set out in the wilderness and told, you're gonna have to spend the night and make your own way, like survival style. You're gonna have to rub sticks together to light a fire. And you start rubbing those sticks together, and you're having a lot of trouble getting the fire started. That's not gonna make you feel frustrated.
I would feel a little frustrated, but I mean, I just keep trying because there's not really much else you can do out in the wilderness. I'd be frustrated, but I just keep trying.
You could call lightning from the sky.
Oh, I could?
Maybe you could try. You could try.
I'll definitely make an attempt.
Okay, how do you feel about the following kinds of things: Sasquatches, Loch Ness monster, ghosts, and aliens?
Aliens are definitely real. I do think ghosts are real. I'm not quite sure about Sasquatch and the Loch Ness monster because I don't think I've seen enough proof other than like, hearsay. Like, oh, I saw Sasquatch, I saw the Loch Ness monster. How am I supposed to believe you? You might have just saw just like a really big fish. But I've seen enough about ghosts, and I'm open-minded enough about aliens to believe that they're real, in my opinion.
Okay, so do you think that ghosts are dead people's spirits?
Um, they can be. They could also just be like some sort of higher power or higher powers, plural, manifesting into spirits.
Okay, so do you think that aliens travel here directly from other planets or via some sort of portal? Or do you
Oh
think they
God.
don't travel here at all?
Hmm. I don't know if we have any aliens here. I'm not hmm. I don't think they're here at all, in my opinion.
Okay, so when you say they exist, you just mean there's some sort of life on some other celestial body out there.
Yes. Yes.
Even if it's not sentient, if it's just like mold or whatever, that counts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, cool. Um, do you think that we should, as the human race, we should do more to investigate space, or that it's a waste of time and energy?
No, I definitely think we should. Space is super interesting. I think with the way that our planet is going right now, it would be worth our time to see what other options the human race has, even if it's probably inevitable that we're gonna die off eventually, pretty soon, and we probably won't be able to find a suitable place in time. But it's worth a shot. Why not?
Die off? Where are we gonna die off from?
Global warming, probably.
I mean,
That's the most direct cause.
that's not. It's not gonna get that how that it kills people directly.
Eventually it will. I
What?
mean, it might not be like in the next 50 years, but 500 years, that's still pretty close by.
I
And it
mean,
might be like that.
what makes you think the curve's continually linear into the future? I mean, mightn't it not flatten out? For example, is the correspondence of increased carbon 1 to 1 with increased temperature?
I don't think it's 1 to 1. I think it's like sort of like this, kind of. Like not linear like this, but
Okay,
like
so
that.
you're saying it gets worse the more carbon goes in, the more impact each piece of carbon has, right?
That's what I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Do you think that people would be better served to try to capture excess carbon in the atmosphere by some sort of sequestration approach? Or do you think that people would be better served to try to cut emissions if they could only choose one?
I think cutting emissions would do would do the best. Um, I had an answer for this a while ago. I thought about it, a better answer, but it left my mind because it was when that one scientist got arrested for protesting on global warming. I was really thinking about it, and I was like, this is the best way that we could do it, but it left my mind.
Okay, cool. What emotion do you feel right now?
um, Engaged.
Okay. And what emotion do you think I'm feeling right
Um, Maybe interested. I don't know. I hope you're interested.
now? Yeah. Yeah. And what emotion do you think the person on the poster behind you is expressing with his face?
Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Um, he's like wary. He's wary.
Are both the guys wary? Or are you talking about the one closest to us is wary?
Oh, the guy is wary. The girl, I'd say she seems a little bit more introspective, maybe.
Okay. Where did you get those lays?
The lays,
Yeah.
of the people in the poster.
No, they're up there on your. I see them.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Lay's chips. I was like, wait, Lay's where? I got them for my high school graduation. A friend gave them to me, and so I just kept them.
Okay, cool. Do you keep many objects around for sentimental reasons?
Um, Not that many, no. Um, I'm looking around my room to see if I have any. I think that's one of the few I have for sentimental reasons.
Can you tell me what that poster over there says, the orange one?
This one,
Yeah.
it's a Mitski poster. She's a singer I really like. I went to her concert in March, and I got that poster there.
Is that lady who sings Me and My Husband?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's her?
That's a good song. I've got a couple of her songs, I guess, on our playlist probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but okay, cool, interesting. Uh, how often do you try to seek out new music versus how much do you spend listening to music you already know you like?
Every day I try to find new music. Um, it's very fun. It makes me very happy to find new music because there's so much good music out there, and then that feeling when you find like a new song you really like is just it's great.
It is great, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a happy moment when
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh my god, what is this? This is so good. Okay. How about creative endeavors? Do you write, draw, paint, make music, act, do
Um,
interpretive dance?
I write and I draw mainly. I used to do music. I played trumpet in high school, but I don't do that anymore. So I just write and I draw.
Okay. Um, do you have a clear vision of what you're going to be doing with your life that's different in 10 years from now?
In 10 years, I think I'll have a fairly stable job. Um, I might be in a relationship. I don't think I'll be married. I imagine that I'll be in a relationship by then and I will have a steady job and hopefully I will have discovered or like explored the world in a way, like because I really want to travel when I'm older. So I'm hoping that throughout my 20s, I'll get to travel a bunch. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll be like more well-rounded.
Okay, cool. Do you speak any other languages besides English?
No, I wish I did. Um, I thought about this yesterday actually. It'll be I don't really have many ways I could speak that language, like absorb myself in that language, like how you go into another country and you're surrounded by this language. That's probably the best way you could learn a language is just surrounding yourself by that language. And I don't have any ways to do that right now, so I
Uh,
don't speak that
hey,
language.
I'm not judging. My Spanish is barely past beginner at this point. I haven't used it in such a long time, so I'm
It's
mostly
okay.
monolingual as well. Um, okay, so can you tell me about um, you're in your house, you're in your room here, and one of those jackets that's hanging on that door there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see the kind of hanger thing that you have though. All right, but
Yeah.
anyway, that kind of hanger, that the metal part, it breaks and your jacket falls to the ground. Now, walk me through what happens from when it breaks to when it's resolved in some fashion.
Um, so I'd probably pick my jacket off from the ground. I'd fold it and put it in my closet. Um, I'd probably go on Amazon and look for new hangers. I have Amazon Prime, so it would probably take like a day for it to deliver, day or two. New hanger would deliver, and then I'd hang my coat back up.
Okay. What happened if your doorknob gets loose?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew how to fix my doorknob. I'd probably ask my dad to fix it. Um,
Would you want to
I'd
watch
be,
him fix it?
um, I probably would because I'm in my room a lot, so I just end up, like he'd be in the corner of my eye and I just watch him fix it.
Do you think you'd learn how to fix it by watching him?
I think so. I think I could. I'm more of an experiential learner, so I'd have to actually do it myself, but I think I'd get the gist of it just by watching.
Okay. Do you ever cook for yourself?
Not that often. I wish I did more. It would definitely make me healthier, but I don't do it as much as I should. I generally just grab whatever's there because I tend to wait when I'm hungry until I'm like starving because I don't really acknowledge it until I'm like really hungry. So I just go downstairs and eat whatever because when I'm hungry, I don't really want to cook. It takes too much time. So
Okay, that's true. That is a problem with being hungry. Um, all right. So, do you have immediate like plans for the next 6 months, year, or whatever? What you got going on?
Yeah, I have plans. So next month I'm going to Myrtle Beach with my family. I'm taking summer classes right now, so I'm going to do well in those summer classes. And then in the fall, I'm going to apply to the school I want to transfer to from my community college so I can go there. And if I don't get in, then I'll just try next time. If I do get in, then I'll plan out, like what I'm going to take with me, all that stuff next 6 months. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's generally
so
what I do.
basically, what you have in front of you is college.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Do you know what you're gonna study?
I'm studying computer science right now.
Okay. How many steps do you think it takes to change a light bulb?
Well, you just twist it out, take the new light bulb, and then twist it in.
So how many steps is that?
Three.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Well, if you're just screwing it in, then you don't take out the old light bulb. It would just be two. So, two. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the first step?
First step is you take your light bulb and then you screw it in.
Okay. So when you say take your light bulb, you mean remove it from the package
Yeah.
and approach the light bulb socket with the bulb in hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me how many is the optimal number of steps to break the task of cooking an omelet into?
Mm, it depends on what you want to put in the omelet. If it's just eggs, then you take out three of your eggs, crack them in the pan. Um, oh my gosh, how do you even make an omelet? You just like flatten out the eggs. You like scramble them and then flatten them out and then you fold it.
More or less, yeah.
Okay,
You
okay. So
you scramble them first with a little bit of milk, then you pour it into the pan, and when it seems like it's getting kind of burny on the bottom, then you fold it over, and then you gotta flip it because the middle never really touches the pan directly, so you don't want it to be too wet inside, you know?
gotcha. Okay. So you would, I'll say four eggs. You'd take four eggs. First step, crack four eggs in the pan. And then second step, scramble them. And then third step, kind of flatten it out on the pan. Fourth step, flip it over. Fifth step, fold it. And sixth step, put on your plate. 6 steps.
Okay, that's pretty good. Can you tell me if some omelets are pancakes and all pancakes are made with blueberries, is it necessarily the case that some omelets are made with blueberries?
Yes.
Okay. If only cheeseburgers taste delicious and I taste delicious, am I necessarily a cheeseburger?
No.
Yes, I am. If either Mary or Sue will go to the store only if Bob stays home, and I see Mary at the store, what can we conclude?
That Sue and Bob are at home.
Okay. Is it possible that both Mary and Sue are at the store?
It could be. You just didn't see Sue.
Well, I guess, okay, that's fine. Um, all right, so how about this kind of question? Can you tell me who my father's sister's only nephew is in relation to me?
Fathers, sisters, only nephew. Would that be your brother?
No, it's me.
Oh. Well, if you had a brother,
Then
oh
there'd
yeah.
be two nephews. Okay. Then how about this one? Can you tell me what today is? Today is Friday. Can you tell me what tomorrow's, yesterday's, tomorrow's tomorrow is?
Tomorrow's yesterday's, tomorrow's. Sunday.
Right. Okay. And if there are five Calistogas in a bubbling spring, and there are four river tubes in a bubbling spring, and I have 8 river tubes, how many Calistogas do I have?
Could you repeat that?
If there are five Calistogas in a bubbling spring, and there are four river tubes in a bubbling spring, and I have 8 river tubes, how many Calistogas do I have?
10.
Correct. Okay. Um, what do you find precious?
What do I find precious? I think my cat is precious. My cat is precious, and time and energy are precious. Friends and family are precious. My learning is precious. My hobbies are precious.
Which hobbies are more precious than others?
Um, the ones that bring me the most joy. I like to read a lot. I like to play video games.
Which video games? What kind of video games do you like to play? Like shooters or resource distribution or what?
Um, I tend to like games that don't stress me out that much
Okay,
because sorry?
so like jewel, jump up and catch the jewel things kind of games, or like on your phone or on the computer?
Um, well, I play a lot of games like Pokemon. I have games on my Switch like Breath of the Wild. I've been playing Ace Attorney recently, which is like a um lawyer game. The lawyer game, and you have to like solve the cases. They're like really weird cases. I like it because it doesn't stress me out too much, and I can also think about it. Even though some of the answers are kind of ridiculous, it's still fun, and the characters are cool. Um, what other games do I like? There are some shooters I like. I really like the Metal Gear Solid series. Um, but it's more of a third-person shooter than a first-person shooter.
Okay. Um, what kind of movies do you watch? Can you give me an example of a movie you thought was really good, and an example of a movie you thought was really bad?
A movie that I really liked recently. It came out recently. It's called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's about it's about a family who owns a laundromat, and so but or like the different timelines they kind of start like merging together, and it turns out that the main character is the sole person who could save these universes from like exploding on each other. I forget exactly what it was, but she has to like save the world, and so she has to like kind of communicate and get powers from each of these timelines to um, defeat the people who are trying to beat her up. And it turns out that her daughter in a different timeline is like the sole person who's like trying to kill these universes. And so it's kind of like a metaphor for their unresolved trauma, family trauma, generational trauma. It's really good. Made me cry. It was really good. I really like that movie, so that's a good one. A really bad movie. I don't think I watched. Oh, I thought of one. Okay, this one is kind of controversial because a lot of people really like this movie. But 2001 Space Odyssey, I really didn't like that movie because it was kind of boring to me. And I fell asleep like 3 times watching it, honestly. But a lot of people really like it.
You are not wrong, lady.
Thank you.
It is boring.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, Rachel, can you, do you have any questions in mind, or do you want me to suggest some questions for you, or?
I'm thinking about the relations kind of stuff. Just see what she looks for in like a friendship.
Friends, co-workers,
Yeah.
potential relationship partners?
Yeah. So, would you be able to tell us a little bit about what you look for in friendship, coworkers, and then like a romantic relationship?
Okay. First, friends. I'm pretty picky with my friends. Just because it's kind of difficult for me to click with people right away. So generally, what I look for is someone who will have the same interests as me, same sense of humor, and someone who just like won't be like rude. I guess they're not like too rude or crazy or anything like that. Those are generally the types of people I get along with. People that don't like stress me out or freak me out or like try to pressure me into doing things that I don't want to do. So those are what I look for in friends. Coworkers, generally with coworkers, I'm not picky. I just need them to do their job well because if they don't, then it feels like I have to like watch over them and like take care of their job for them. It's stressful. So I just want them to be able to do their job well. That's it. It helps if I get along with them though. For a romantic relationship, I'm already in a relationship, so what I see in him is that, like I said, it's kind of what I see in my friends, like same interests, same sense of humor. Feels like I can tell him anything, which really helps. Like I can be open with him and he won't like criticize me or anything. And open-mindedness is important too. You know, do you want to like try new things, all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
Where do you meet friends?
I've met all my friends at school. I only really have one friend that I keep in good contact with though, because a lot of my friends have went on to like college, and I'm really, really bad at keeping in touch with people over text and stuff. So
That happened to me too, actually. And
yeah.
Yep. It's a very common thing. You know, you make these bonds in high school, and you think that like you're going to continue it, and then, you know, you get busy with college, and you end up making new friends, and you're worried about your studies, and it's just hard to keep in contact.
Yeah, it really sucks because there's a lot of people that I do want to keep in touch with, but it's either it feels like they don't want to put the effort in, or there's just not time to do it. Yeah.
Okay. So let's play Name My New Invention. I've got a new invention that I've come up with, but I'm terrible at coming up with snappy names. And the marketing department wants a snappy name for my new invention. Okay? The invention is it's artificial eyebrows that shoot out porcupine quills if you're attacked.
Porky brows.
Okay. Can you give me some more possible names?
Okay. Hmm.
Not that I don't like Porky Brows. I do like Porky Brows. It makes me want to sing the Sports Chalet song. Porky Brows, we'll take you to the limit.
I'm glad you like it. I can't really think of any other snappy names. That's like the best one.
um, Spine Brow, uh, Quiver of Quiver of Destiny.
That sounds like a death sentence.
Stab you with my eyebrows.
Is that really snappy though?
Not really.
That sounds like a general statement, like I'm gonna stab you with my eyebrows.
Okay, you come up with an invention that needs a name.
I come up with one? Oh my goodness.
It doesn't have to be any better than my porcupine
Okay.
quill shooting fake eyebrows. So yeah.
I'm looking for inspiration around me. I would like something, a robot that could read my mind and then draw whatever I'm thinking. What would you name that?
Uh, um, robotically yours.
That's low-key good. I kind of like that. Robotically yours.
It'd be written in cursive, of course. That's where cursive.
Like that, like Hallmark.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you ever heard me ask Inky Pinky questions before?
I don't believe so.
All right, here's an example. So the answer will be a rhyming pair of words. The example is the clue will be something like hilltop water spout. And I'll tell you it's an inky pinky, which means each of the answer words has 2 syllables. And the answer is mountain fountain. Mountains like hilltop, water spout is like fountain. The answer rhymes, the clue doesn't. Okay? So
Okay.
here's one I use for people who haven't heard these before. This is a bunny addiction, and it's an inky pinky.
Lovey bunny.
Rabbit habit.
Rabbit habit. Okay.
Let's try one more of these here, 2 syllable ones. A okay, so this is a sheep tending person who accidentally got between the waiter at a fancy restaurant and his own salad as the waiter was grinding.
As the waiter was what, sorry?
Grinding.
Grinding. At his job?
This doesn't, I don't have the best clue for this one, but the point is, it's a sheep tending person who has gotten stuff on him because he accidentally put his head between this salad that he was going to eat and the waiter's hands, which were grinding.
Oh gosh, I'm not good at these inky pinkies. Sheep tending person.
Sheep tending guy. It's a shepherd.
That's shepherd. That word left my mind. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. So the answer is peppered shepherd.
Peppered shepherd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So, um, what does the feeling of fear feel like in your body?
I physically feel it, so it feels like I'm gonna throw up. And like my heart's gonna like explode.
Okay. What about sadness?
Sadness, it feels like my brain has been consumed and it's like a dark circle in my brain that I just can't stop looking at. I guess that's the best way I can describe it.
It's like a dark circle in your brain that you can't stop looking at?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. Um, so, would you rather have to fill out a packet of paperwork or talk to the person and explain your way through and whatever you need to accomplish?
Um, does the explaining have to do with the paperwork?
Yeah, like you have two ways of accomplishing the conveyance of information. One,
I
you can have to explain yourself to the person, or two, you can just have to fill out some paperwork.
I'd rather fill out the paperwork because I trust my writing on paper more than my verbal thoughts.
Okay. Um, do you think do you perceive yourself as somebody who's good at doing job interviews?
No, not at all. I get too nervous.
Okay. Or you don't like being put on the spot at all?
Yeah, and I have to like thoroughly prepare beforehand. And most of the time, I don't even feel like fully comfortable. Even if I prepare, I'm like, oh God, you're gonna hate me.
Okay. Let me ask you some value questions. So, what do you think is more important for you to be in the world? Do you think it's more important for you to be reliable or to make a big impact?
Make a big impact.
Okay. And do you think it's more important for you to be original or concise?
Original.
Do you think it's more important for you to be original or socially graceful?
Original.
How about original or kind?
Original.
How about original or fair?
Original.
I'm with a client right now. I'm with a client.
No, I'm just.
Oh, yeah. I'll get it out of there soon. Okay. And what about for other people? Do you think it's more important for other people to be reliable to you or to be kind to you?
I think kind.
Okay, cool. And do you feel like you are more efficient or more socially graceful?
Efficient.
And do you think it's more important to you that other people be efficient or socially graceful?
Maybe efficient. I'm a bit torn, but maybe
Okay.
efficient.
How about is it more important for other people to be efficient or fair?
Fair.
Is it more important for you to be efficient or fair?
Fair.
Okay. Um, can you talk to me about what you think the word truth means?
Hmm. Well, I guess truth would just be a universal ideal. It's kind of hard for there to be a 100% truth, but there are some things that are 100% factually sound, and so I guess that would be a truth.
Okay.
But there are
And
also like personal truths, like personal philosophies. I guess it depends on the context, in my opinion.
do you think you're able to determine whether something is factually true or not?
It depends on what it is, because I might not be as knowledgeable on whether something is a truth or not, so I have to look towards other sources.
Okay. Um, do you think you are somebody who I'm going to list four ways of attention. You tell me which one resonates with you as your most like you. Okay. Know, react, decide, or act.
Those are types of attention.
Yeah. Do you think you know first? Do you decide first? Do you act first, or do you react first?
I think no. No
Okay.
first.
And do you think you know? Do you think you trust your experience when you know more, or your instincts when you know
Instincts.
more? Okay. Can you think of an example of a time when you said to yourself, I trusted my instincts, but gosh, I wish I had followed through on my plan because that would have been a better approach, or the opposite. Whereas I followed through my plan, but I wish I had trusted my instincts instead.
Like an example of that?
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm not sure if I could think of an exact example because there's a ton of like micro moments I could like acknowledge something like that happen. Um, but I'm not sure if I could name a specific example right now.
Okay. Can you think of a time when you should have said something, but you did something, or a time when you should have done something, but you said something?
Um, I think there are a lot of times where I should have like not done or said something at all. I haven't acknowledged a time where it was like either done something and not said something or said something and not done something. At least in my current memory.
Okay. Can you think of a time when you decided a matter using your feelings when you wish you had been more cool and rational about it, or vice versa, or decided it mattered with cool rationality when you should have used your feelings?
Um I there have been a lot of instances at work where I was a bit too cool with my logic and then it ended up hurting other people's feelings, which maybe I should have been like more understanding
And
about
when
where
that
you're coming from.
happens, is it because you're trying to be helpful, but you inform them of a deficit that they have that they don't want to hear about?
Yeah, I think that's what happens. Or like they'll. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Um. What was I gonna ask next? Oh. Can you think of a time when you tried to figure something out yourself, but you should have asked for help, or vice versa?
Oh gosh. I think the one that comes to mind most right now is when I was first building my personal computer. Um, it was something that I feel like I could have done it a lot better if I had just figured it out myself instead of looking at a bunch of tutorials that like sort of contradicted each other. So it was just like, oh, they said I need to do this, but this other guy says I need to do this, so I should have just figured it out myself instead of just like kind of, you know, do you get what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Um, can you think of instances where you've gotten cross with yourself and said, "Gosh darn you, Sam, you really messed up this time. I'm angry at you, self."
Hmm. I don't know. I'm not that hard on myself. I guess I guess it would be mostly at work where that would happen. Like maybe I make a mistake and I like on my job and I was like, oh darn, like gotta fix it. But not that many moments where I'm like really, really mad at myself
Okay.
because I just take it in stride.
Do you frequently encounter things in the world that make you go, "Why does everybody do everything wrong?"
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. I think I would like to consult off mic here with Rachel for a second, and
That's fine.
then we'll come and tell you the conclusions that we've
Okay.
come to. Okay.
So I think she is poor Annie.
I don't think so. I think she had poor Effie.
Poor Effie. So ISTJ.
I think she's an INTJ.
It's funny, that came to my mind too. INTJ came to mind too.
SI. You know, I just don't
Yeah.
hear the SI. She seems NI. Her TE's solid. Her TI's quite solid.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
And ignoring would be fifth, right? She has fifth slot. So
yeah.
that would make sense why it would become a little bit more difficult for her to think of ideas for names.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I should probably do a little bit more NE testing. Okay, let me do a little more NE testing. Okay, so we want to ask you a couple more expert intuition questions. So, can you explain possible reasons why somebody might want to become a hot air balloon operator?
They might want to just be able to see the world from a high point of view, and they also might want to give other people that experience of being able to see the world from such a cool vantage point.
You got any other reasons for me?
Maybe they're just interested in the hot air balloon.
Okay.
They just like hot air balloons.
Can you come up with more reasons, even if they're not good ones?
maybe it was their grandma's dying wish for them to be a hot air balloon operator.
Grandmas often do make that dying wish.
um, let me see if I can think of anything else. I think that's it.
Okay. Let's see. How did you? What was your relationship with writing essays in high school?
Totally depends on the essay because there's some essays that I really have to grudge through, and there's some essays that I get really engaged in because it's a cool, interesting subject. But even still, it takes me a while to write an essay because I'm a bit of a perfectionist about it. So it takes me a while to write, like, this one perfect sentence, and then I can go on to the next, and then I could go on to the next.
Okay. Um, what sort of analysis would you make regarding American foreign policy in the status quo?
American foreign policy, so like illegal immigrants and visas and stuff.
Well, that you could call that foreign policy. I mean, that's immigration policy. Foreign policy would be what we're doing about China, what we're going to do about Russia, if anything. Um, you know, whether we're going to allow Finland and NATO, things like that.
I'm honestly not too educated on policy of foreign policy in general.
What about immigration then? Do you have any thoughts on immigration?
Um, I think there are a lot of jobs that illegal immigrants do that are beneficial towards American society, and a lot of jobs that Americans don't want to do. So I don't see why we should be so hard on them, especially if where they're coming from is so rough. I think we have to be a little bit more empathetic towards them.
Okay, cool. Um, and do you have any other particular issues that you've done a lot of thinking or analysis about that you'd like to share some of your analysis about?
Oh my goodness. There's a lot. Could you give me a broad example?
Well, you might have done a lot of analysis about what makes a good song, for example. Done a lot of thinking about that. Or you might have done a lot of analysis about uh, what what makes a wise use of your own time, or any number of things, like what makes a good hamburger place. I don't know.
Recently I was thinking about how oftentimes we like to try to objectify art, even though art is always subjective. So like everyone will be like, this is what makes a good song, this is what makes a bad song, this is what makes a good movie, this is what makes a bad movie, but no one is ever going to fully agree. So I feel like the way that we objectify forms of media and art like that is kind of defeating the purpose.
Is is the reason why it can't be objectively good or bad because of that inability to reach agreement?
Yeah.
But isn't it the case that we can't really reach agreement on anything?
Yeah, honestly, you're right. A lot of things are very subjective, but we like to add objective reasoning to it so we can feel more secure in our reasonings.
Okay. And all right. So, what do you think, Rachel?
I think what you were saying is right.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We feel as though you are an INTJ.
INTJ?
Yeah.
That's that's actually what I've typed myself for a while, but I wasn't too sure about it. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've got strong TE, strong TI. You've got clear preference for habit of NI over SI. You don't give me a lot of SI details. There are not a lot of examples or anecdotes, so it's backslot SI probably. Just based on the way you SI, it's either 7 or 8, almost for sure. And so I don't think it's polar because I think you're FE polar. And you have, not because you've got bad FE, but simply because you've got like intuitively turned off FE or something. The way that INTJs do it, I don't know. There's something FE. There's some way that INTJs FE polar that's a little different than say ISTJs, and I just
I agree.
Could you explain like a little more about FE polar?
okay. Well, I don't have a lot of good tests for it, but it's about schmoozing, basically, or asking. So there's this question of should I should I figure it out myself or should I ask other people how to do this thing? Your answer of how you should have tried to figure it out yourself because you got conflicting instructions from multiple people because the question you were asking was it tried to incorporate too many aspects probably, which is like what yet you were both trying to learn what kind of computer to make and how to make it, and that's too big of an issue. And so it's I get what you're saying there, but the fact that you provided me an example of a time where you should have just tried to figure it out yourself, rather than an example of a time where you should have asked somebody, is suggestive of front stack rather than back stack and fairly conscious. So I could probably much more easily give examples of times when I should have asked somebody instead of trying to figure it out myself, because that's very true for me. But if it's front stack, it's probably going to be the opposite. So that makes sense for second slot TE rather than sixth, for example. And the TI is quite strong, but it's not first or second. So that's consistent with INTJ. Rachel was speculating that maybe your NE was polar because you are very concise in your answers, but that's consistent with an NI DOM enough, and I think you were not polar. And again, I don't really have a super good justification for this except to say that any polar, it's more like pulling teeth when I'm getting answers from those people, whereas when I'm talking with you and getting answers from you, it feels like we're making discursive progress. That's not a very stout reason to make the point that you're not any polar, but it's about as you didn't give me a lot of any, but you gave me enough to say probably not polar. So that makes you INTJ because you're clearly FI, not FE, and I think you're FI third, which explains why you don't really get mad at yourself. This is another thing I've noticed about INTJs. They don't really get mad at themselves, but they're always a little bit mad at everybody else.
That rings true.
So,
I like that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Because I was always, or recently, I typed myself INTJ for a while, maybe like 1-2 years or so, but I was increasingly more unsure about it recently because I thought, wait, maybe I use FE, maybe I'm not even an NI user. I kept like seeing different arguments for my personal typing that I was like, oh my gosh, I need an outside opinion. I can't trust myself anymore.
I just didn't see really any front stack SI that would be suggestive of dominant at all. It was much more unconscious than that. So 8th thought seems right for that. And if since you're and you do seem like a knower as well, and the only other possible thing you could be would be like ISFP, but if you were an ISFP, I don't think your TI and your TE would be as good as it is. I don't think you'd be quite as intuitively in this right alongside me necessarily. So I think we
I
typed you
agree.
correctly at INTJ.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it a ton.
Okay, thanks a lot. I will stop this recording. Do you want me to share it with you privately, or are you comfortable with me publishing?
You can publish it.
All right, cool. I'll publish it this evening. Thanks so much.